Annuity Quotes. O&M have linked up with Assure Web to enable you to generate annuity quotes for your clients. To enable this link, you must enter your Assure Web username and password. To do this, click on Options in the top right hand corner. On the left hand side of the options box, select Quotes. Then under Retirement Options, enter your username and password. If you do not have an Assure Web username and password, visit this website and that will enable you to obtain a logon. Once you've entered your username and password, you should not have to enter it again. It will be stored on the system going forwards. Now, in order to generate any type of quote for your client on the system, you must first of all start off in the client. So click on Clients on the left and then My Clients. This will open up our client search area and will automatically bring through a list of all the clients that you've previously created on the system. If you want to create a new client at this point, click on Create New Client in your taskbar at the top. If you want to generate a quote for an existing client, double-click on that client. Now, within the client you can store a lot of information, but the two areas that we will focus on in order to generate a quote for the client are personal details and quotes. Personal details: ensure you have the client's name, date of birth and gender in the personal details section. That is the minimum information we require to generate a quote. The rest of the information is optional and is covered in a separate video. So I'll head to the quote section. And within the quote section is a list of quotes that I've previously ran for this client. And every time you create a quote for the client, it will automatically store that quote in this box. So if you need to rerun that quote, edit it, manage it, you can access it from within here. So we want to generate an annuity quote for our client. So we click on Create New Quote on the top right hand corner. And annuity quotes come under Retirement Options Quote. Within the Retirement Options Quote, work your way from top to bottom, completing all of the relevant sections until you get to Results. The first section is Quote Details. This section allows you to put in information which will help you manage the quote going forward. So enter a reference for the quote, set the status of the quote, and type any comments you want on the right hand side. Any information entered in here will not appear on any quotes or reports. It's just for how you manage your quote. We then head into the Current Plans and Portfolios section. Click here and use the Select button to add the current portfolios or plans you wish to use in this quote. This is where we need to know a little bit about the plans the client is using to fund the annuity. So they will have already been contributing into pension plans, so we need to know a little bit about those pension plans in order to produce the annuity quote. Now, on the top right hand corner you have two main buttons, Select Plan and Create Plan. Select Plan. If you've already created the client's existing plan, possibly in the client area or maybe via another quote that you've ran for this client, we wouldn't then expect you to create that current plan again. All you need to do is click on Select Plan. You can then select all of the client portfolios or go through and select each individual one that you're considering using in this quote. So let's just select a plan. Ensure you have the current plan name in there correctly, because that is what will appear on your report, and select the provider of that plan. Then what we need to know is the current value and the transfer value. Once you have completed that information for this plan, click on the arrows in the top right hand corner and that will spin you back around. And it's added this plan into our current plans list. So you could just keep clicking on select plan and select all of the existing plans that the client currently has on the system. If you've not already created the client's current plan, that's absolutely fine. You can create it in here by clicking on create. And again, we just need you to type in the current plan name and the provider of that plan. Current value and transfer value. If we spin it back around, again that will be added into the current plan list here, and what it's also done, it will automatically store that current plan against the client. So if you ever need to use that current plan again for any other quotes, you don't have to create it again. The next section is the quote type section. Click here and enter the quote type details. Now the first thing that you'll notice is you have three options, option 1, option 2 and option 3. The system will allow you to generate 3 quotes simultaneously and then you can compare and contrast those quotes alongside each other. The options that you have to choose from, if you use the drop down here, you have various options to choose from. You have lifetime annuity, investment linked annuity and fixed term annuity. These quotes are all driven via AsureWeb. And for our users who have the professional version of the system, you also have the ability to generate drawdown quotes. Now drawdown quotes will be covered in a separate video. We will focus on annuity comparisons for this session. So we'll start with generating a lifetime annuity quote. When you select lifetime annuity, it will then produce several boxes for you to complete, and the first box asks you the quote provider. You've got a AsureWeb quick quote, which is what I'll be showing you on here, but you also have custom annuity rate, and what that's there for is if your client's been offered a really good guaranteed annuity rate with their existing provider, or maybe an enhanced annuity rate with another provider, you can enter the custom annuity rate details in here, which could then allow you to produce a second quote alongside it, maybe comparing it with the open market in terms of annuities. I will run an AsureWeb quick quote, and it will then ask you all the usual information you would expect to see with regards to an annuity quote. So any dependents pension to be added on, any escalation to be applied to the annuity, any guarantee period to be applied, and PCLS, or tax-free cash as we may better know it by. Now in PCLS you've got a few options in here. You've got no PCLS, so that's the scenario where the client has forfeited their right to tax-free cash. So we would just take the full value and use that to purchase the annuity. You then have specific monetary amount or specific percentage, fairly self-explanatory. And then PCLS already taken. What that does is that assumes that you've already deducted the tax-free cash from the current value. It will apply the same process as what no PCLS does and use the full value to purchase the annuity, but in the report it will refer to the fact that PCLS has already been taken. So I will select specific percentage and produce a fairly common scenario of say 25% tax-free cash. So I've gone with a straightforward level term lifetime annuity. Option 2 then, we could generate a whole new quote. We could do an investment linked annuity. Remember you have drawdown available on there as well. But this time what I'm going to do is the same quote again, so another lifetime annuity, but this time I will consider building in some escalation into the annuity. So I could at this point click on lifetime annuity and input all the details again. However, as a little time saver, if you click on actions, you have the ability to copy option 1 over. So that will just bring all the details through, and if you've only got a couple of things to change, that will save you a lot of time. So we'll enter in 3% escalation. Option 3, again I'll do the same again, but this time I will add in 5% escalation. So we very quickly managed to generate 3 quotes at the same time. The next section then is the life basis section. Click here and enter the retirement option quotes life basis details. So this is some additional information that we need in order to produce an annuity rate. So the first thing we need to know here is postcode. Postcode can have a significant impact on the annuity rate. So type the client's postcode in here. If they have any health issues, enter yes. If not, continue with no. If they do have any health issues though, AssureWeb will give you a rough estimate of an annuity that could be available. You will still need to complete the health questionnaire as there is no underwriting facilitated on this system. Then set the smoker status. If you have any dependents pension built into the quotation, add in the same details for the dependent. The next section is advisor charges. Click here and enter the advisor charges you wish to use for this quote. So using the drop down, enter the initial charge you would like to take. So you have no initial charge whatsoever. You then have an initial amount, so that would be a monetary value, or an initial percentage, which would be a percentage value. And when you select amount or percentage, the system will then ask you what amount or what percentage would you like to take. We then head into results. You'll notice we have 3 sets of results generating at the same time, and just to remind us of what those options were, we ran option 1, which was a level annuity, no escalation on there. Option 2, we built in 3% escalation, and option 3, we built in 5% escalation. Now looking at each set of results, if we look at option 1, what this is telling us is that Legal & General are producing the highest annuity figure available for all the information we put into our quotes, and they're offering the highest annuity for all 3 options. Now if you want to see more information on all the results in here, what you can do is click on this magnifying glass, and that will expand the results grid out. So if you want to view a bit more detail, so for example you can scroll from left to right, and then you'll be able to see all the other providers on here. And that's the same for the other options also. Now the system will automatically select the top product in each set of options, and it will then illustrate the details of that quote in the chart below. So this will plot the income available from the annuity at every 5 years. So if you take your mouse, hover over each point, it will tell you the income from each option. If you would like to use a different provider in this chart, that's fine. All you need to do is click on it. So in this example, if I would like to use Canada Life for option 2, and then let's say Aviva for option 3, it will then add Canada Life and Aviva in. Now at this point, you may not have decided which annuity option to best recommend to your client, so you can produce a report which will analyse the 3 options simultaneously. Now to do that, click on Reports in your taskbar, then click on the Lifetime Annuity Options report. That will take the 3 annuity options and it will compare them alongside each other. Our cover page details the name of the report, who it's prepared for, who it's prepared by, and the date of the report. The first page then sets the scene, so it gives us some key features with regards to annuities and the current plan details that will be used to purchase and fund the annuity income. We then look at pension commencement lump sum or tax-free cash, and this simple to understand chart illustrates to the client that although you have a £500,000 pot, If you are looking to take 25% tax-free cash, that leaves us with a remaining pot of 375,000, and that is the amount that will be available for annuity purchase. We then look at the annual income. So for each option that we've built in with our various quoting styles, this will show us the income at each age, right the way through to age 95 for all three options. And underneath that, it will explain the key crossover points. So for example, after 17 years and 5 months, option 2 exceeds option 1's annual pension of just over 17,500. However, option 1 would have accumulated over £70,000 of additional pension at this point. So although you'll be starting to get a higher income after 17 years and 5 months, the client would have lost out on £70,000 worth of income until that point. We also then look at getting your money back, and what this does, it illustrates having invested the 375,000 into purchasing the annuity, how long would the client need to live for in order to get that £375,000 back. So this black line here represents the 375,000, so the initial amount to use to purchase the annuity. And then you have the bars illustrating each option. So we can see round about age 75, option 1 starts to return the fund. It's not until around about age 80 that option 2 returns it, and then getting closer to 85 that option 3 returns that amount. The next page again gives us the key crossover points. We'll then explain advantages and disadvantages of annuity purchase. And then the last page will just detail any notes with regards to the quotation, and these quotation notes are produced directly from AsureWeb. So that's the lifetime annuity options report, comparing all three options alongside each other. Once you have decided which option to recommend to your client, click on the product that you would like to recommend for that option. So let's say we're going with option 2 and we'll go with legal in general. You can then click on reports and produce reports for option 2, and the annuity comparison report will detail all the quote information, and it will also print out the results grid showing legal in general at the top. And that's it for Annuity Quotes. Thanks for listening.